guys, so we have an urgent information coming out when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. It says here, if the bear country ever launches, this is what their US nuclear target list looks like. After Dmitry invoked Dead Hand, the bear Cold War era doomsday protocol, it wasn't just bluster, it was a reminder. The bear country still knows exactly where to aim. A declassified 2017 target map from US Defense Planning shows what a Russian strike could look like in a 5 or 2,000 warhead scenario. And it's not just the obvious DC, New York, and LA. It's Cheyenne, Omaha, Amarillo, Jacksonville, missile silos, radar station, port, power grids, oil refineries, transport, choke points, and yes, farmland. So this is a very important information here, guys, with a map that shows like the US targets if things get out of hand and we end up in WW3. All right, so we're going to see what's going on here. These are very important information that's coming out right now. I do have multiple news here. Donald breaks norm on nuclear secrecy and opens a dangerous door. We're going to get to all this here, guys. What is Russia's nuclear dead hand? And why Dmitry just invoked it? So we're going to get to all this here. Who is Dmitry? And why does Dmitry sound like Vladimir Inner madman? Alright, so we do have all this information I want to share with you guys. Nuclear games with the bear. Donald moves subs. Who will blink first? Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Thank you again for your support. It's very important to talk about this story here because things are looking pretty tough nowadays between the US and the bear country. And Donald just put out his message today that the nuclear subs are getting closer and closer. Now the bear Russia responded and said, we already knew about those subs. We keep an eye on them for many years. Alright, and so Russia's like, but we have more nuclear subs in the ocean than the US. So things are not looking good. So we're going to see what's going on here. And do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you again for your support. Alright, so it says here, the logic. Break the military. Then cripple the food and fuel. Whoa. The Southeast Gulf Coast, Midwest, and Pacific Rim are all lit up with overlapping targets. Urban centers aren't just collateral, they're part of the doctrine, shock, chaos, and mass civilian panic. This is what the bear practiced for decades and still trains for. So the bear, I don't think they're gonna go after like the big ones yet, which is DC, New York, and all those other areas. They're gonna go after silos, power grids, the farm. I mean, that would weaken the sleeping giant. And then at the very end, they're probably gonna just go after the big ones, the cities. With over 5,800 warheads and modern ICB, excuse me, capable of reaching the sleeping giant soil in under 30 minutes. The warning isn't just hypothetical. Now, where do you go? Do you go underground bunker when this thing hit the fan? Well, one thing I'll tell you guys, again, you should run to Jesus Christ. and have no fear, for Christ is near. I mean, people have their bunkers, that's nice, but not too many people could afford to build a massive underground bunker or have these amazing, when it comes to gift of making money, not too many people have the, that gift. But the Bible says to help those who are in need of help. If you are gifted with knowledge and so many things and stuff like that, you should share that with many instead of thinking about yourself. The Bible says that when you help others and do good works, and you are in Christ, when you do good works and help others, your reward is being stacked up in heaven. See, a lot of people stacking up in their bunkers and stuff, but I rather build treasure in heaven. So that's the beauty of it. So again, if you have all these amazing things and stuff like that, and you know how to hunt and do, again, you could help other people. When you do that, you stacking up treasure in heaven, and God is going to going to give you the treasures in heaven, which is much more beautiful than anything of this world. Okay, so Donald breaks norm on nuclear secrecy and opens a dangerous door. Give me a second here. Now, Donald public claim that he repositioned U.S. nuclear subs is rare, not totally unprecedented, but far outside standard protocol. In 2017, he disclosed the location of U.S. subs right outside North Cay on television. In 2021, Joe referenced submarines in the AUKUS deal, but only in a strategic tech sharing context, with zero mention of active deployments. This moment is different. It's nuclear posturing tied to a personal online exchange with the bear Dmitry, who referenced Cold War dead hand protocols. And it comes as the bear ramps up hypersonic production and moves tactical nukes towards NATO's doorstep. The danger lies in the platform U.S. Commander-in-Chief exposed: U.S. ballistic submarines. These subs are the most survivable leg of America's nuclear triad, armed with dozens of warheads, submerged for months at a time, and deliberately hidden to ensure second strike capability if all else fails. Revealing their movement, even vaguely, breaks decades of strategic ambiguity. Once an advisory known where to look, that survivability starts to erode. It risks making these assets targets, triggers, misreading, and enemy command centers, and forces advisory to reassess their own posture. In a conflict scenario, it could even pressure them to move first. Now, one of the America's most secure assets has been pulled into public view, not by necessity, but by bravado. This wasn't strategy, it was exposure, and it could make an already fragile nuclear balance even more unstable. All right. We're about to enter a new chapter, a new page of nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. So what is the bear's nuclear dead hand? And why Dmitry just invoked it? It was built in the final years of the Cold War, buried deep beneath the surface of the Soviet you-know-who. A system designed not to protect life, but to guarantee death. You take us down, you coming with us. That's what it is. Known in the West as dead hand, and in the bear as perimeter. This semi-ultimatum command and control network was created to ensure that if the USSR was hit by a surprise nuclear strike and its leadership wiped out, a full-scale retaliatory strike would still be launched. Here's how it worked, and likely still works. Deep underground command centers monitor seismic activity, radiation levels, radar, and crucially, communication from top leadership. If everything goes silent and the system receives no all clear, it launches a command missile. Wow. This missile doesn't carry a warhead. Instead, it flies over the Bear, broadcasting nuclear launch codes to remaining ICBMs, mobile launches, submarines, and strategic bombers, triggering automatic retaliation across multiple platforms. The logic behind Dead Hand wasn't just revenge. It was a psychological warfare to convince the sleeping giant and NATO that any first strike would be pointless because the Bear nukes will still fly even after its leader were all gone. Alright, so how do you stop the Bear? You can't. You can't stop the Bear. You could take the Bear out. Yeah, you could take him out. But who's going to stop the dead man switch? Who's going to stop that? How do you stop it? Because once everything is taken out from the Bear, it's game over. Everybody's going to have to go to bunkers, run to caves, because 5,000 plus nukes is going to go flying. And yeah, so this is the reason why the Bear has not been hit hard by NATO. It says here, though the exact status of the system today remains classified, the Bear military official have confirmed it's still operational, maintained as a last resort option that can be activated in extreme scenario. What makes this especially chilling now is that Dmitry just referenced it publicly in the middle of escalating Sleeping Giant and the Bear tension. And he didn't speak hypothetically, he called it our fabled dead hand. A reminder that the Bear Country ability to end civilization doesn't depend on anyone being alive to push the button. It's not just a relic. It's still part of the Bear doctrine, still wired. It's still wired into its nuclear infrastructure. And when it's mentioned out loud, it's not theater. It's a threat rooted in hardwired Cold War logic that never left. Wow. We're going to go with this one now. Who is the Bear Taunter? And why does Dmitry sound like Vladimir Inner madman? Dmitry was once the polished, tech savvy face of the Bear president from 2008 to 2012, a modernizer in the West's eyes, and briefly seen as a softer counterweight to Vladimir. So that version is long gone. Now, as a deputy chair of the Bear Security Council, Dmitry has morphed into one of Moscow's most aggressive, unfiltered voices, regularly calling for nuclear event, mocking Western leaders, and invoking the doomsday system like Dead Hand. Unlike Kremlin, the press secretary Dmitry, who officially speaks for Vladimir, Dmitry doesn't represent Kremlin policy directly, but his rants aren't random either. He serves a purpose, a kind of semi-official attack dog, giving voice to extreme rhetoric that the Kremlin may want in circulation without having Vladimir fingerprints on it. So it's unclear whether Dmitry is channeling Vladimir darker instincts or auditioning for relevance in posts of Vladimir Russia. But his words, though official, are not irrelevant. They test the global reaction, shape narratives, and shift the overtone window. And he just got Donald to admit to moving submarines. That's crazy. He made Donald kind of, He triggered Donald. He pinched a nerve. All right, so when the man who once sat in Kremlin starts talking like he wants to see the world burn, the world pays attention. Yep, he got Donald attention. All right, we're gonna go with this final one here. These are really good information here, guys. Nuclear games with the bear. Donald moves subs. Who will blink first? Donald says he ordered 2 subways. Excuse me, 2 US subs, nuclear subs. Repositioned after the bear former leader Dmitry posted a veiled nuclear threat referencing The Walking Dead, a Soviet-era launch system. This comes during rising U.S. and the bear tensions over Ukraine, where over 100,000 of the bear troops and 8,000 Ukrainian troops have reportedly passed this year. Where's my coffee, man? Where is my coffee, man? Let's stop here for a moment. 100,000 of the bear troops gone this year, 2025. 8,000 Crane troops gone this year, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, look at these numbers very closely, okay? These numbers are coming out from Western source, meaning us, all right? Okay, look at that number, all right? So this number is incredible. I mean, you have Zelensky just doing an amazing job. He's taking out the bear soldiers. I mean, he's obliterating them. I mean, this is great. Good news. It seems like Crane is winning. So why is Donald getting involved? Donald, don't get involved. Zelensky is doing great. What are you doing? Leave him alone. He's doing great. He's taking out the bear soldiers. That's amazing. He took out over 100,000. I mean, we're still in like 5 more months. He could take out another 100,000. That's 200,000 soldiers a year. Donald, leave that man alone. He knows what he's doing. Come on, guys. Come on. If that number was true, Donald would not get involved in this biblical war. Donald is getting involved because I believe this number here is Ukrainian soldiers. And this number here is the bear soldiers. Wake up. If the sleeping giant getting involved, it means because the allies is getting hammered really bad. And they are. So I don't know who came out with that number. This is why I don't trust those, again, sleeping giant info. I just don't. It's just insane. It's absolutely insane. So the move is symbolic. It's unclear if any subs actually moved, but the message is unmistakable. The sleeping giant is watching and it's prepared. Nuclear subs are one of the most powerful and secretive tools in the sleeping giant arsenal. That's very true. They're built to be silenced and undetectable. Publicly mentioning their position breaks decades of deterrence strategy based on ambiguity. The bear holds over 5,800 nuclear warheads, more than any other country. Now let's stop here, guys. Yes, that's very true, but not all of these nukes are functional. All right, I mean, you do have at least maybe 1,000 that is active and it's still good. The rest is not that great because it's sitting in storage. All right, and it's been sitting for a very long time, and to keep updated and upgraded with these nuclear warheads, it costs a lot of money. So not all 5,800 nukes are functioning, put it like that. There's only a few. Just like the US, it costs a lot of money to keep thousands of nukes updated. It costs so much money. All right, give me a second here. Let me look it up. So give me a second here. I want you to check this one out really quick. Maintaining and updating the U.S. nuclear weapon arsenal is projected to cost nearly $1 trillion over the next decade. You hear that? You hear that? Over the next decade. $1 trillion, averaging about $95 billion per year. So to keep this thing maintaining and updating, that's $95 billion a year. That's a lot of money. This includes operating, maintaining, and modernizing the entire nuclear force, including delivery system and supporting infrastructures. So even though we have thousands of nukes, a lot of them is not working properly. All right, it costs too much. It just costs too much. But we do have like possibly maybe 500 or 1,000, maybe 1,500 that is that we keep updated and maintained, just like the Bear Country. All right, even though we have 5,000 plus, it doesn't mean 5,000 plus is working 100%. A lot of them is just not strong. Give me a second here, guys. I mean, it could still do some damage, but it ain't gonna be powerful. All right, so it says here, when leaders on either side start referencing nukes, even indirectly, the room for misunderstanding grows dangerously wide. To those unfamiliar, this isn't Cold War nostalgia. It's a live, high-stakes standoff between nuclear superpower with global consequences if lines are crossed, even by mistake. Donald says this is about safety. But what does the Bible say? When spoken of peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall follow. Donald said that you got to be careful of the things that you say. And Donald, the things that you're saying too, you got to be careful, man. You call yourself the peacemaker. And then you say, I'm sending the nukes, subs, for safety, for the sleeping giants. So you just mentioned two words here. Peacemaker and safety. When spoken of peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall follow. Critics warn it's a risky signal that could escalate rather than deter. And that's where we're at right now. I think it's very important that that Donald stop putting stuff on X and writing all these things, and he needs to stay in prayer, and just work on, negotiating and dialogue, and it's, no more of these biblical war stuff, because it's going to lead to something. It's going to lead to something. And again, we have seen what happened in the Mideast. We don't want to see that with the Bear, because the Bear is a country that much more powerful military compared to those in Mideast. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please share the video. For those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, guys, $5 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on the platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ, for He's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.